Watch and burn.
Plaza fucking emptied out fast. Hey everyone, so tonight I want to discuss Radiohead's Amnesiac, or as it's known in the fan base, according to their fan base, it's known as Kid B. Now, I don't love referring to it as Kid B because Kid A was a really solid record, but other than everything in its place, I found that the rest of the songs on there just haven't really held up the best throughout the course of time. Whereas the songs on this album, I find that these just get stronger with every passing year and with every fresh listen. I don't feel that way with Kid A, but I do feel that way with Kid B. So, I mean, wait, no, I shouldn't have called it Kid B. I mean Amnesiac because I don't agree with it being called Kid B. I mean, you got Pyramid Song on here, You and Whose Army's on here, Knives Out is on here, Like Spinning Plates, Packed Like Sardines. And I love how Radiohead lyrically, and as far as how sort of the odd text that is found throughout random places throughout the liner notes through all of their records, from Hail to the Thief forward, would get consistently weirder and weirder. Now, I know it wasn't just empty weirdness. There's no way that was the case. York and company, they're too smart for that. But what I love about it is that sense of randomness. Like it sort of has, like, at times some of their albums give me sort of a Nick Bantock feel. He's an author, for anybody, a Canadian author too, if memory serves. He's the guy that did the Griffin and Sabine trilogy. He also did the Egyptian Jukebox. For anybody that's sort of into odder forms of literature that run more along the lines of like House of Leaves, Nick Bantock could potentially be for you. And I found that, like I said, Radiohead's sort of mid-2000s to late 2000s crop of records kind of have a Nick Bantock vibe as far as like the odd placement of the text and the particular use of fonts. And like, I can't remember what record it was in, but it was sort of an ad for their website, but it was set up like you shouldn't go to their website. It said, why visit radiohead.com when you could go for a walk instead? And shit like that. And I really appreciate that about them. And that sort of vibe is all over this album. I mean, the songs on here are sort of as dreamy and as sort of limitless as anything Radiohead's ever done from Hail to the Thief forward. But there does seem to be a particularly, I suppose, like a darker vibe to these songs. Like Pyramid Song. I always reference Pyramid Song with Pyramid Head in my head. And for some reason, it always works. And as far as You and Whose Army, Knives Out, like Spinning Plates, it's like, Warp. It's like, my God, Like Spinning Plates could have been released, like, as part of like a Radiohead EP for Warp Records. And even Like Spinning Plates, which has a very traditional, more IDM electronic influence, there's still something seething about it. There's something in its underbelly that just seems really wrong and dark. Like, it's like there's a sense of terror or something at play that's you can almost taste it. And with everything else on here, I mean, it does sound like standard Radiohead, but not really too. At the same time, Amnesiac is sort of like Radiohead's funeral dirge of a record, I suppose. It's like sort of like a pretend funeral for a friend that didn't pass away. It's like the soundtrack to something that didn't end, but they're going to pretend that it did anyways, I suppose. Because I found this record to be, like I said, just as sort of in the clouds as anything Radiohead's done, post Hail to the Thief. But there's something weightier and something like almost lurking in the shadows of all of these songs that I just can't seem to sort of shake that vibe from. I can't seem to escape that feeling like these songs are trying to sort of envelop you in their darkness, like they want to swallow you up completely. I think that's a pretty good way of putting it. That's why I've always felt about this record, that there's some sort of undercurrent of darkness. But look, I will leave it there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed Radiohead's absolutely killer Amnesiac, not Kid B. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, most importantly, don't forget that the world is a better place because you are in it. I'm going to go. Have a good night.